Captain Taemin Park stood on the bridge of the EDS horizon, staring at the data streaming across his screen. His hands trembled slightly as he read the report for the third time. The numbers did not lie. For 15 years, humanity had trusted the Velkrin Empire. For 15 years, Earth had believed they were being helped. Now, Taemin knew the truth. Every piece of advanced technology the Velkrin had given to humanity was broken. The evidence was clear in the stolen files. The Velkrin had given Earth outdated shield generators. They had provided weapons that would fail in real combat. They had sold humanity ships with weak engines. All of it was designed to keep humans weak, to keep Earth dependent, to make sure that when the time came, humanity could not fight back. Taemin felt anger burning in his chest. He had served Earth for 20 years. He had fought pirates in the outer colonies. He had protected merchant ships from raiders. He had believed that joining the galactic community was the best thing that ever happened to his world. Now, he knew better. The galaxy did not see humans as equals. They saw humans as prey. He sent the data to Admiral G1 Kang on Earth. Then, he waited. 3 hours later, his communication panel lit up. The Admiral's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired. Her eyes were red. Taemin knew she had been reading the files. "Is it all true?" she asked. "Yes, Admiral. Every word." G1 closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, Taemin saw something he had never seen before. Fear. Real fear. "I am calling an emergency meeting with the Galactic Council," she said. "Ambassador Dae-hyun will present our evidence. The Velkrin must answer for this." "I mark." "What if they refuse?" Taemin asked. "Then we will know where we stand." The meeting happened 2 days later. Ambassador Dae-hyun Lee stood before the Galactic Council in the Great Chamber on Station Unity. Representatives from 47 species watched as he presented the evidence. Holographic displays showed the sabotage technology. Documents proved the Velkrin conspiracy. Audio recordings revealed their plans. Dae-hyun spoke with passion. He explained how Earth had trusted the Velkrin. He showed how humanity had been betrayed. He demanded justice. He asked the Council to punish the Velkrin Empire for their crimes. The Council chamber was silent when he finished. Then, the Velkrin ambassador stood up. His name was Theron. He was tall, with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. He looked at Dae-hyun with what might have been amusement. "The human speaks of betrayal," Theron said. "But I see only business. We gave your species technology. You used it. Where is the crime? If the technology was not good enough, you should have made your own." That is how the galaxy works. Other council members nodded. Some made sounds of agreement. Dae-hyun felt his heart sink. "You deliberately weakened our defenses," Dae-hyun said. "You made us vulnerable." "Why?" Theron smiled. "Because that is what protected species are for. You give us resources. We give you protection. This is the arrangement. We thought we were partners." "Partners?" Theron laughed. It was not a kind sound. "Humans are children in this galaxy. You have been spacefaring for barely 100 years. My people have ruled the stars for 10,000. You are not our partners. You are our wards. And sometimes, wards must learn their place." Dae-hyun looked around the chamber. No one spoke in humanity's defense. The other species looked away. Some seemed uncomfortable. Most seemed indifferent. This was normal to them. This was how the galaxy worked. "Then what do you want from us?" Dae-hyun asked quietly. "Your cooperation," Theron said. "A Velkrin fleet is already on its way to Earth. They will arrive in 48 hours. When they arrive, your world government will sign a new treaty. Earth will become a full colony of the Velkrin Empire. Your resources will be ours. Your people will work for us. In return, we will protect you from threats. This is generous." Some species wanted to simply take your world by force. We are being kind. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some council members objected. Most stayed quiet. Dae-hyun realized with horror that this had already been decided. The meeting was just a formality. The galaxy had already agreed to let the Velcrin take Earth. And if we refuse? Dae-hyun asked. Theron's smile vanished. Then the fleet will make you agree. We have 300 warships coming to your system. You have 12. Do not be foolish, human. Accept your fate with dignity. Dae-hyun sent the message back to Earth immediately. Admiral G1 received it in her office at Earth Defense Command. She read it twice. Then she stood up and walked to the window. Outside, she could see the lights of the city. Millions of people going about their lives. People who did not know that in 2 days, everything would change. She called President Yoon Ji-kwon. They spoke for an hour. Then she called the military commanders. The meeting lasted all night. By morning, a decision had been made. Earth would not surrender. Admiral G1 sent orders to all 12 human warships. Captain Tae-min received his orders on the horizon. He read them carefully. Then he called his crew together. Crew, I will not lie to you, he told them. The Velcrin are coming with 300 ships. We have 12. They expect us to surrender. Command has decided we will fight. 5. The crew was silent. Tae-min saw fear on their faces. He also saw anger. He saw determination. Many of us will die, Tae-min continued. Maybe all of us. But we will show the galaxy what happens when you push humans too far. We will show them that we are not prey. We will make them pay for every meter of space they take. We will make them remember Earth. A young officer raised her hand. Her name was Hyo Jin Choi. She was only 25. Sir, what if we lose? Tae-min looked at her. Then we lose fighting. That is better than living on our knees. The crew cheered. It was not a happy sound. It was the sound of people who knew they were going to die, but chose to fight anyway. On Earth, Admiral G1 gave a speech to the world. She told them the truth. The Velcrin were coming. Earth would fight. She asked people to be brave. She asked them to trust their military. She asked them to believe in humanity. That night, families held each other. People prayed to their gods. Soldiers said goodbye to their loved ones. The whole world waited. In space, Captain Tae-min watched his sensors. 48 hours. That was all the time they had. He looked at his crew, working at their stations. He thought about his son Dong-hyun, safe on Earth. He thought about all the things he wanted to say to him. Then the sensors lit up. The Velcrin fleet had arrived early. 300 ships appeared on the edge of the solar system. They were coming. The war for Earth had begun. The Velcrin fleet moved through space like a wall of metal. 300 warships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. Their commander was Admiral Korvax. He had fought in 20 campaigns. He had conquered 6 worlds. He expected Earth to be easy. On the bridge of his flagship, Korvax studied the tactical display. 12 human ships were moving to intercept his fleet. He almost laughed. 12 ships against 300. The humans were either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. Send them a message, Korvax ordered. Tell them to power down their weapons and prepare to be boarded. Tell them this is their last chance to surrender. The message was sent. The response came 30 seconds later. It was short. No. Korvax frowned. Very well. All ships, open fire. Destroy the human vessels. The Velcrin fleet unleashed hell. Energy beams lit up the darkness of space. Missiles streaked toward the human ships. Korvax expected it to be over in minutes. Then something impossible happened. The human ships scattered. They did not fight like a proper fleet. They did not hold formation. Instead, they broke apart and moved in different directions. The Velcrin weapons missed their targets. The human ships were fast, much faster than they should have been. On the horizon, Captain Tae-min smiled grimly. The Velkrin had given Earth bad technology, but they had underestimated human engineers. For 5 years, Dr. Sang-woo Kim and his team had been secretly improving everything. They had rebuilt the engines. They had upgraded the weapons. They had done it all in secret, using the Velkrin's own stolen data against them. Now those improvements would make the difference between life and death. All ships, execute Plan Hammer, Tae-min ordered. The 12 human ships moved like wolves hunting. They did not attack the Velkrin fleet head-on. Instead, they targeted the edges. They fired missiles, then ran before the enemy could respond. They used the asteroids in the belt as cover. They refused to fight fair. The Velkrin tried to adapt. They sent fighters after the human ships. The human point defense systems shot them down. They sent fast cruisers to chase. The human ships led them into ambushes. For every human ship damaged, 3 Velkrin vessels were destroyed. Korvax watched his tactical display with growing anger. His fleet was supposed to be overwhelming the humans. Instead, they were being picked apart. These tactics are dishonorable, his second officer said. I do not care about honor, Korvax replied. I care about winning. Reform the fleet. We attack Earth directly. Let the humans follow us. The Velkrin fleet changed course. They headed straight for Earth. Korvax knew the human ships would have to defend their homeworld. Then he could destroy them all at once. Captain Tae-min saw the Velkrin plan immediately. He knew what he had to do. Hyojin, he said over the communication channel. Commander Hyojin Choi was captaining the EDS Retribution, a small destroyer. I need you to do something. Yes, sir? I need you to stop that flagship. There was a pause. Hyojin understood what he was asking. Her ship was tiny compared to the Velkrin flagship. If she attacked it directly, she would die. Understood, Captain. It has been an honor. The honor is mine, Commander. Hyojin turned to her crew. There were only 80 people on the Retribution. They were all young. Most of them had families on Earth. She looked at each face and digest. We are going to ram the flagship, she said simply. Anyone who wants to take an escape pod can do so now. I will not think less of you. 2. Nobody moved. Then let us make this count, Hyojin said. The Retribution turned and accelerated. It headed straight for Korvax's flagship at maximum speed. Velkrin weapons fired at it. The shields held for a few seconds, then failed. Explosions tore through the hull. Half the crew died instantly. Hyojin kept flying. On the flagship, Korvax saw the human ship coming. He realized what they were doing. Evasive maneuvers, he shouted. Too late. The Retribution crashed into the flagship's command section. The explosion was massive. Both ships were destroyed in a ball of fire that lit up the solar system. Korvax died without knowing he had lost. The Velkrin fleet faltered. Without their commander, they became disorganized. Captain Tae-min saw his chance. All ships, attack now. The remaining 11 human ships struck hard. They launched every missile they had. Dr. Sang-woo's secret weapon activated. The missiles released electromagnetic pulses, designed specifically to disable Velkrin shields. The Velkrin had never encountered this technology. Their shields flickered and died. Without shields, the Velkrin ships were vulnerable. Human railguns tore through their armor. Nuclear-tipped missiles found their targets. In 10 minutes, 50 Velkrin ships were destroyed. On Earth, the battle was being broadcast to everyone. People watched in shock as Commander Hyojin rammed the flagship. They cheered as the Velkrin ship started exploding. Then they watched as the Velkrin began retreating. But the battle was not over. The Velkrin fleet was still massive. They regrouped and came back angrier. This time, they did not hold back. They fired everything at once. The human ships took heavy damage. The EDS Liberty was cut in half. The EDS Freedom exploded when its reactor breached. The EDS Independence lost all power and drifted helplessly into space. In 30 minutes, Earth's fleet was reduced to 7 ships. Captain Tayman's ship, the Horizon, was badly damaged. Fires burned on 3 decks. Life support was failing. Half his crew was dead. But he kept fighting. Then, he got a message from Earth. It was from Young-Sik Nam, a civilian engineer. Young-Sik was manning an old defense platform near Mars. The platform was ancient, built decades ago. Everyone thought it was useless. But Young-Sik had spent the last week repairing it in secret. "Captain, I have a shot at 3 of their cruisers," Young-Sik said. "But I will need you to draw them closer to my position." "And, can your platform survive?" "No, sir. But neither can they." Tayman understood. Another sacrifice. Another brave human, choosing death to protect Earth. "Do it," Tayman said. The Horizon limped toward the defense platform, leading 3 Velcrin cruisers. They followed, eager to finish off the damaged human ship. Young-Sik waited until they were in range. Then he fired every weapon the platform had. The old mass drivers roared to life. Tungsten rods traveling at incredible speeds slammed into the Velcrin ships. The first cruiser broke apart. The second lost its engines. The third turned to fire at the platform. Young-Sik activated the platform's self-destruct. But before it exploded, he sent one final message. It broadcast on every frequency, strong enough that the entire galaxy could hear it. "This is Young-Sik Nam of Earth. You came to our home. You tried to take our freedom. You thought we were weak. You were wrong. You wanted war? Welcome to humanity." The platform exploded, taking the damaged cruiser with it. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched the broadcast. They saw the small defense platform destroy 3 massive warships. They heard Young-Sik's final words. For the first time, they understood something important. Humans did not fight like other species. They did not care about honor or rules. They fought with everything they had. They fought with rage and determination. They fought like cornered animals with nothing left to lose. The Velcrin fleet had arrived with 300 ships. Now, they had fewer than 180. They had lost their commander. They had lost their confidence. The survivors retreated from Earth's solar system in chaos. Captain Tayman watched them go. His ship was barely functioning. Of his crew of 200, only 60 were still alive. But they had won. Earth had survived. Admiral G1 sent a message to all surviving ships. "Well done. Come home." But as the battered human fleet returned to Earth, the galaxy was waking up to a new reality. Humanity had been attacked. Humanity had fought back. And humanity had won. The question now was, what would humans do next? Admiral G1 Kang stood in the war room, looking at the star map. Red markers showed Velcrin territory. Blue markers showed Earth's allies. There were very few blue markers. The galaxy had watched Earth fight for survival, and most species had done nothing. "We need to decide our next move," said Counselor Hyun-Woo Shin. He was a politician, but the war had changed him. Now, he understood that politics alone would not keep Earth safe. "The Velcrin will come back," G1 said. "They cannot afford to look weak." "Then we do not wait," said General Bo Ra Song. She had been promoted after the battle. Now she commanded Earth's expeditionary fleet. "We take the fight to them." The room went quiet. Attack the Velcrin? In their own territory? It seemed insane. "They expect us to defend," Bo Ra continued. "They think humans will stay near Earth and rebuild. That is what any normal species would do. But we are not normal. We hit them now, while they are confused. We hit them hard." Captain Tayman, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "General Song is right. Every day we wait, they prepare. Every day we sit here, they build more ships. But if we attack now, we can slow them down. Ji-won thought about it. She thought about all the young people who had died defending Earth. She thought about Hyo-jin, who had sacrificed herself to save millions. She thought about Young-shik, who had spent his last moments defiant. "What targets do you have in mind?" she asked. Bo-ra activated a hologram. It showed a massive structure in space. "This is the Velkrin primary shipyard. It is in the Torvax system. 3 weeks from here, at maximum speed. This shipyard produces 60% of their military vessels. If we destroy it, we set their military back by years." "How many ships are defending it?" Counselor Hyun-woo asked. "Intelligence says 50 warships, maybe more. We only have 18 ships that can fly," Taemin said. 7 survived the battle. Another 11 have been pulled from other duties. "Then we make 18 enough," Bo-ra said. The mission was approved. 3 days later, the human fleet departed. General Bo-ra commanded from the EDS Vengeance, a new ship built from parts of damaged vessels. Captain Taemin flew the repaired Horizon. 18 ships against an empire. The odds were terrible. The humans did not care. While the fleet traveled, something else was happening. Kyung-hee Han worked in Earth's intelligence division. She was a spy, though few people knew it. For months, she had been hacking into Velkrin communication networks. Now she found something interesting. The Velkrin had not been working alone. Before the attack on Earth, they had made deals with 6 other species. These species had agreed to help divide Earth's resources after the conquest. They had planned to carve up humanity like a meal. Kyung-hee brought the evidence to Admiral Ji-won. "These species all voted against helping us in the Galactic Council," Kyung-hee explained. "Now we know why. They were all going to profit from our destruction." Ji-won looked at the names. The Dravix Collective, the Orsini Federation, the Quellis Republic. All of them had smiled and pretended to be neutral. All of them had been planning to feast on Earth's corpse. "Release this information," Ji-won said. "I want every species in the galaxy to see it. Let them know what we know." The data was released on every galactic network. The reaction was immediate. Some species were outraged at the conspiracy. Others were embarrassed to be caught. The 6 species involved denied everything. But the evidence was clear. The Galactic Council erupted in arguments. Meanwhile, the human fleet reached the Torvax system. General Bo-ra studied the shipyard. It was enormous, a city in space. Velkrin workers and automated systems built ships around the clock. 50 warships patrolled nearby. "We cannot fight 50 ships," one captain said over the communication channel. "We do not need to fight them," Bo-ra replied. "We need to destroy the shipyard. Everything else is secondary." The plan was simple. Half the fleet would engage the defenders. The other half would attack the shipyard. It was a suicide mission for the first group. They knew it. They volunteered anyway. Captain Taemin led the attack group. 9 ships against 50. They came in fast, firing everything. The Velkrin defenders responded, but they were confused. Why were the humans attacking with so few ships? Where was the rest of their fleet? They found out when the shipyard exploded. General Bo-ra's group had approached from a different angle, using the shipyard's own communication satellites to hide their signatures. They had fired specialized missiles that Dr. Sang-woo had designed. These missiles did not just explode. They caused chain reactions in the shipyard's fusion reactors. The shipyard tore itself apart. Explosions rippled through the structure. Sections broke off and collided with each other. Ships still under construction were destroyed. The fires were so intense they could be seen from the planet below. The Velkrin defenders abandoned their fight with Taemin's group. They rushed to save the shipyard, but it was too late. In 20 minutes, 60% of the Velkrin's military production was gone. The human fleet regrouped and ran. They had accomplished their mission. 3 human ships had been destroyed, but the damage to the Velkrin was enormous. News of the attack spread across the galaxy in hours. Species that had ignored Earth now paid attention. The humans had not just defended themselves. They had attacked. They had struck deep into Velcrin territory and crippled their military production. This was not how wars were supposed to work in the galaxy. They are barbarians, some species said. They are survivors. Others replied. On Earth, people celebrated. But Admiral G1 did not celebrate. She knew this was just the beginning. The Velcrin would want revenge. Other species would be frightened. Earth had proven it could fight, but now it had to prove it could win. More intelligence came from Kyung-hee. She had continued hacking Velcrin systems. She discovered that the Velcrin had been doing to other species what they tried to do to Earth. There were 12 protected species in Velcrin space. All of them were being exploited. All of them were being kept weak. We could use this, Counselor Hyunwoo said when he saw the data. Use it how? Ji-won asked. We free them. We go to these species and offer them a choice. Join us, or stay slaves to the Velcrin. It was a bold idea. It was also dangerous. Earth did not have the resources to protect 12 other species. But if those species joined Earth, together they might be strong enough to stand against the Velcrin. Admiral G1 approved the plan. Small human ships were sent to the 12 protected species. They carried a simple message. Earth fought back. You can too. Join us. 3 species refused. They were too afraid. 2 species wanted to stay neutral. But 7 species agreed. They were tired of Velcrin rule. They were ready to fight. The rebellion spread like fire. Velcrin colonies faced uprisings. Velcrin supply lines were attacked. The empire that had ruled for thousands of years suddenly found itself fighting on multiple fronts. The Velcrin Empire sent a message to Earth. They offered peace. They would leave Earth alone if the humans stopped their attacks and abandoned the rebellious species. Earth's government debated the offer. Some people wanted to accept. The war was costly. Earth was still weak. Peace would allow them to rebuild. But General Bo-ra argued against it. If we accept, we abandon the species that trusted us. We prove that humans only care about themselves. And the Velcrin will come back eventually. They will just prepare better next time. Captain Taemin agreed. We cannot stop now. The galaxy is watching. If we quit, we prove we are weak. If we continue, we prove we are strong. The debate lasted 3 days. Finally, President Eun Ji-kwon made the decision. Earth would not accept peace. Earth would demand the Velcrin's unconditional surrender. The galaxy was shocked. A species that had been spacefaring for barely a century was demanding that an empire surrender. It seemed impossible. It seemed insane. The Velcrin rejected the demand. They began gathering their forces for a massive counterattack. Every ship they had was called back. Every ally was contacted. They would crush Earth once and for all. But while the Velcrin prepared, so did Earth. Factories worked day and night building new ships. The 7 allied species sent their own vessels to join the human fleet. Scientists developed new weapons. Soldiers trained for the battles to come. Admiral G1 looked at the latest reports. Earth's fleet had grown to 40 ships. With their allies, they had 80. The Velcrin were gathering over 300. The odds were still terrible, but something had changed. The galaxy no longer saw humans as weak. They saw humans as dangerous. Species that had planned to exploit Earth now feared it. The Velcrin, who had expected an easy conquest, now faced a real war. Captain Taemin received a message from his son Dong-hyun. The boy was 16 now. He wanted to join the military. Not yet, Taemin wrote back. Stay in school. Learn. We are fighting so you can have a future. Do not waste it. He sent the message and wondered if he would live to see his son grow up. The galaxy was dividing. 7 major powers watched Earth's war with the Velcrin and became afraid. If humans could challenge an ancient empire, What else could they do? These 7 powers formed the Coalition of Concerned Worlds. Their leader was Archon Velthar of the Mordian Assembly, a species known for their strategic thinking. Velthar called a meeting of the Coalition. Representatives from 7 species gathered on the neutral station of Kepler Prime. They discussed the human problem. They must be stopped, said the Dravix representative. They attack without warning. They do not follow the rules of war. They are spreading chaos. They are also winning, Velthar noted. The Velkrin have lost 40% of their fleet. 12 systems have rebelled. The Empire is crumbling. Which is why we must act now. The Orsini ambassador insisted. If Earth defeats the Velkrin, they will be too powerful. We must contain them while we still can. Velthar agreed. The Coalition sent a message to Earth. They demanded that humanity immediately cease all military operations. They demanded that Earth disarm most of its fleet. They demanded that humans submit to galactic oversight to ensure they did not threaten the peace again. Admiral G1 read the message in her office. She read it 3 times. Then she threw her datapad across the room. They attack us, she said to Counselor Hyunwoo. They plan to divide our world. They watch as we fight for survival. And now, they demand we surrender? They are afraid, Hyunwoo said. Fear makes people do stupid things. What do we tell them? Hyunwoo thought for a moment. Tell them no. Tell them Earth will not disarm while threats remain. Tell them we will talk about peace when the galaxy treats us as equals, not children. Earth sent its reply. The Coalition rejected it. Velthar ordered his fleets to mobilize. 7 species began moving their military forces toward Earth's territory. The largest war in galactic history was about to begin. On Earth, something else was happening. Not everyone agreed with the government's decisions. A man named Jae-sung Kwon led a growing movement. He argued that Earth's leadership was too weak. They should not be seeking peace. They should be conquering their enemies. We have proven we are strong, Jae-sung said in speeches that millions watched. Why do we still beg for respect? Why do we ask permission? We should take what is ours. We should make the galaxy fear us so much they never threaten us again. His words found support among soldiers who had lost friends in battle. They found support among people who were tired of being treated as inferior. Jae-sung's movement grew larger every day. Admiral Ji-won and President Eun-ji watched this with concern. Earth was facing external enemies. It could not afford internal division. But they could not silence Jae-sung without proving his point that the government was weak. Meanwhile, Fleet Admiral Jin Ho-bae prepared Earth's defenses. He commanded over 60 ships now, plus another 40 from allied species. But the Coalition was bringing over 700 ships. The mathematics were brutal. We cannot win a direct fight, Jin-ho told his officers. So we will not fight directly. We will defend our colonies. We will make them pay for every system they take. We will drag this out until they lose the will to fight. Captain Tae-min, now promoted to Rear Admiral, commanded a squadron of destroyers. His job was to harass Coalition supply lines. It was dangerous work, but someone had to do it. A journalist named Mi Young-yoon followed Tae-min's squadron. She recorded everything. She sent reports back to Earth, showing the reality of war. Her footage showed human soldiers fighting bravely. It also showed them making hard choices, sometimes terrible choices. She showed wounded soldiers. She showed destroyed ships. She showed the cost. Her reports were broadcast across the galaxy. For the first time, other species saw humans as real beings, not just threats or curiosities. They saw humans cry. They saw humans laugh. They saw humans care for their wounded and mourn their dead. This is dangerous, one of Tae-min's officers said. She is showing our weaknesses. She is showing our humanity, Tae-min replied. Let her record. The galaxy should see who we really are. The Coalition fleet arrived at New Sol Station, a major human colony in the outer systems. The station was home to 2 million people. Fleet Admiral Jinho had placed 30 ships there to defend it. The coalition sent 200 ships to take it. The Battle of New Sol Station lasted 3 days. It was the bloodiest fighting the galaxy had seen in 1,000 years. The coalition expected to overwhelm the defenders quickly. They did not. Human ships fought with desperate courage. They used every trick they knew. They hid among asteroids. They used the station's weapons. They coordinated perfectly, despite being outnumbered. For every human ship destroyed, they took 3 coalition vessels with them. On the second day, the coalition tried to bombard the station from a distance. The civilians would be killed, but the coalition commanders decided this was acceptable. They fired their long-range weapons. Admiral Jinho ordered all ships to form a shield around the station. The human vessels took the bombardment meant for the civilians. Ships were torn apart. Thousands of soldiers died, but the station survived. Mi Yong-yun recorded all of it. She broadcast images of human ships burning as they protected the station. She recorded the last messages of dying crews. One pilot, his ship destroyed and life support failing, used his last moments to broadcast a simple message. "Tell my daughter, I kept them safe." The recording went viral across the galaxy. Billions of beings watched it. Some were moved. Some were horrified. But all of them saw the same thing. Humans would die to protect each other. On the third day, Jae Sung Kwan's movement made its move. Ships loyal to him attempted a coup. They tried to take control of Earth's military command. They argued that the current leadership was getting people killed for nothing. They wanted to take full control and fight without restrictions. Admiral Ji-won and Captain Taemin worked together to stop the coup. It was not easy. Many soldiers agreed with Jae-sung. The military was divided. For 6 hours, human ships pointed weapons at other human ships, while the coalition attacked New Sol Station. Finally, Admiral Ji-won broadcast a message to all ships. "You want strong leadership? I understand. You want to ensure Earth survives? I agree. But if we fight each other now, we all die. The enemy is out there. Not in here. After this war ends, you can judge me. You can replace me if you want. But right now, we need to stand together." Her words reached enough people. The coup failed. Jae-sung was arrested. But the damage was done. Earth had shown the galaxy its internal problems. The coalition saw weakness. Velthar ordered a final massive assault on New Sol Station. He committed all 200 ships. He would take the station no matter the cost. The remaining human defenders, only 7 ships still combat-capable, prepared for the end. Admiral Jinho knew they could not hold. He gave the order to evacuate the civilians. Transport ships began loading people as fast as possible. Then something unexpected happened. A coalition captain named Torvis, commanding a cruiser from the Quellis Republic, broke formation. His ship stopped firing. Instead, he sent a message. "I have watched these humans fight for 3 days. I have seen them sacrifice themselves for civilians. I have seen them protect each other. This is not the behavior of barbarians. This is the behavior of heroes. I will not fire on them anymore." Torvis's ship left the battle. Then another coalition ship did the same. Then 3 more. Not all of them. Most coalition ships continued fighting, but enough left that the attack faltered. Velthar was furious. He ordered the remaining ships to destroy the deserters. But he could not. If he fired on his own allies, the coalition would collapse. He had no choice. He ordered a retreat. New Sol Station was saved, barely. Of the 30 human ships that had defended it, only 4 survived. Over 15,000 soldiers were dead. But 2 million civilians lived. The battle changed something. The galaxy had watched humans fight impossible odds. They had watched humans sacrifice themselves for strangers. They had watched the coalition attack civilians and watched humans die protecting them. Ambassador Sung Min, Earth's new diplomatic representative, saw an opportunity. He sent a proposal to the Galactic Council. He offered a peace plan: mutual disarmament, reformation of the Council, and equal representation for all species, including Earth. Some coalition members wanted to accept. The war was costly. Public opinion was turning against them. But Velthar refused. He had committed too much. His government would fall if he accepted peace now. "We continue," Velthar announced. "The humans are weak. One more battle will break them." He was wrong. But he would not realize that until it was too late. On Earth, people mourned the dead from New Sol Station. But they also celebrated the victory. Against all odds, humanity was still standing. The war was not over. The hardest battle was still coming. But humans had proven something important. They could endure. Captain Tae-min received another message from his son. Dong-hyun had turned 17. He had joined the military academy despite his father's wishes. "I cannot stay safe while others fight," Dong-hyun wrote. "You taught me that." Tae-min read the message and felt pride mixed with fear. His son was brave. He was also very young. The war would take more lives before it ended. Tae-min prayed his son would not be one of them. The war had lasted 8 months. Earth's fleet was exhausted. The coalition forces were tired. Both sides had lost thousands of ships and millions of lives. But Archon Velthar was determined to finish what he started. He gathered every ship the coalition had left, over 400 vessels, for one final assault on Earth itself. Admiral Tae-min Park, now commanding the defense fleet, had only 90 ships. His son, Dong-hyun, served as a junior officer on one of the new destroyers. Tae-min tried not to think about it. He tried to focus on the battle plans. But every time he looked at the tactical display, he wondered which ships would survive and which would not. President Eun Ji-kwon addressed the world one last time before the battle. She spoke from the Defense Command Center, her face tired but determined. "They are coming to take our freedom. They are coming because they fear what we represent. We represent the idea that the weak can become strong, that the small can stand against the mighty, that courage matters more than numbers. Whatever happens today, remember this: we did not start this war, but we will finish it." The coalition fleet entered Earth's solar system. Velthar commanded from his flagship, the Eternal Justice. He expected Earth to surrender when they saw his forces. Instead, the human fleet moved to intercept. "They are insane," Velthar's second officer said. "No," Velthar replied quietly. "They are human. That is different." The battle began at the orbit of Mars. Human ships fought with everything they had learned over the past months. They used asteroids for cover. They coordinated in ways the coalition could not match. They refused to give up even when their ships were burning. But numbers mattered. Slowly, the human fleet was pushed back toward Earth. Ships fell one by one. Tae-min watched his forces dwindle. 50 ships, then 40, then 30. The coalition kept coming. Then, Tae-min did something no one expected. He surrendered. "All ships, stand down," he ordered. "This is Admiral Park. We are surrendering. Power down weapons." The coalition fleet stopped firing. They were confused but pleased. Finally, the humans had accepted reality. Velthar ordered his forces to prepare boarding parties. They would capture the human commanders and end this war. But as the coalition ships moved closer, Tae-min activated a hidden shuttle. It launched from the horizon and headed straight for the coalition flagship. Inside the shuttle was only Tae-min. He had planned this for weeks. "What are you doing?" Fleet Admiral Jin-ho demanded over the communication channel. "What needs to be done?" Tae-min replied. The shuttle was too small and fast for the coalition to stop. It docked with the Eternal Justice before anyone could react. Tae-min, wearing a simple uniform and carrying no weapons, walked through the airlock. Coalition soldiers surrounded him. They brought him to Velthar's command center. Velthar studied the human admiral. Taemin was older now than when the war started. His hair had gone gray. His face showed the weight of command. But his eyes were steady. "You came to surrender personally?" Velthar asked. "No," Taemin said. "I came to talk. You and I, right now, can end this war. Your fleet stops. My fleet stops. We negotiate peace. No more death. You are in no position to negotiate. Neither are you," Taemin said calmly. He pulled out a datapad and tossed it to Velthar. "That contains information about your political situation. Your government is collapsing. Half your coalition wants to quit. Your people are protesting. You have lost popular support. If you attack Earth today, you might win, but you will lose everything else." Velthar looked at the data. His face did not change, but Taemin saw the truth in his eyes. Everything Taemin said was correct. "Even if what you say is true," Velthar said slowly, "why should I negotiate with you? What can Earth offer?" "Survival," Taemin said. "You saw what happened at New Sol Station. You saw your own ships desert. The galaxy is watching. If you destroy Earth today, you will be remembered as a monster. If you make peace, you will be remembered as a wise leader who ended a terrible war. Which do you want?" Before Velthar could answer, an alarm sounded. One of the coalition ships was under attack. Not from human forces. From Jae-sung Kwon and his followers. Jae-sung had escaped from prison during the chaos. He had gathered ships loyal to him and launched them toward the coalition fleet. He did not care about peace. He wanted revenge. "This is why we cannot make peace with humans," one of Velthar's officers said. "They are divided. They are violent." "Then help me stop them," Taemin said. Velthar stared at him. It was an insane idea. Coalition forces fighting alongside humans against other humans. But it was also the only way to prevent complete chaos. "If I do this," Velthar said, "you must guarantee that your government will honor whatever peace we make." "You have my word." Velthar made his decision. He ordered his fleet to target only Jae-sung's ships. At the same time, Taemin sent orders to the human fleet. "All loyal ships, Jae-sung Kwon is attempting to sabotage peace negotiations. Stop him." For the next hour, human and coalition ships fought side by side. It was strange and awkward. Ships that had been trying to kill each other minutes ago now protected each other. But it worked. Jae-sung's forces were outnumbered and outgunned. Most of his ships surrendered when they realized what was happening. Jae-sung himself refused to surrender. His ship charged at the coalition flagship, trying to kill Velthar and ruin any chance for peace. A young human destroyer moved to intercept. It was Dong-hyun's ship. The destroyer placed itself between Jae-sung and the flagship. Jae-sung fired everything. The destroyer's shields failed. Hull breaches opened across the ship. Taemin watched from the coalition flagship. He saw his son's ship taking fire. He saw it burning. He could not breathe. Then Dong-hyun's ship fired back. A single missile, perfectly aimed, hit Jae-sung's ship reactor. The explosion destroyed Jae-sung and ended the rebellion. Dong-hyun's ship drifted, badly damaged but intact. Taemin let out a breath he did not know he was holding. His son was alive. Velthar turned to Taemin. "Your son?" "Yes. He is brave, like his father." "Bravery runs in families," Taemin said. "So does the desire for peace." The shared battle changed everything. Coalition soldiers had seen humans fight to protect them. Human soldiers had seen coalition forces do the same. The shared experience of fighting together created something that months of war had not. Understanding. Velthar called for a ceasefire. Both fleets powered down weapons. Then, the real negotiations began. Ambassador Sung Min-oh came to the flagship to help. He was joined by Soo-jin Lee, a peace activist who had been advocating for reconciliation since the war began. Together, They spent 3 days working out the terms. The Treaty of Earth was signed 1 week later. The terms were simple but revolutionary. All species would disarm by 50%. The Galactic Council would be reformed with equal representation. Protected species would become full members. Earth would join the Council as a major power. Most importantly, the treaty established the Galactic Peace Force. This force would be commanded jointly by multiple species, including humans. Its job was to prevent any single power from dominating others. Captain Dong-hyun Park was chosen as one of the first human officers in this force. His father attended the ceremony. Tae-min had retired from active duty. He was tired, but he was proud. "You did what I could not," Tae-min told his son. "You fought without hate. You protected even your enemies. That is true strength." Allo. 1-7. Allo. "I learned it from you," Dong-hyun replied. On Earth, people celebrated the peace. But they also mourned. Over 50,000 humans had died in the war. Thousands more were wounded. Ships were destroyed. Resources were depleted. The cost had been terrible. President Yoon Ji-kwon spoke at the memorial service. "We did not want this war. We did not seek to be conquerors. We wanted only to be free and to be respected. The galaxy tried to take that from us. We fought back. And in fighting, we showed them something important. We showed them that all beings deserve freedom. We showed them that strength without compassion is tyranny. We showed them that even the smallest species can stand tall." Admiral Ji-won Kang, also retired, established a military academy. She wanted to teach the next generation not just how to fight, but why to fight. War should always be the last choice, she told her students. But when war comes, you must be ready. You must be strong. And you must never forget that enemies today can be friends tomorrow. Mi Young-yoon, the journalist, wrote a book about the war. It was read by billions across the galaxy. She told the stories of individual soldiers, both human and coalition. She showed that everyone in the war had families, hopes, and fears. Her book helped different species understand each other. Soo-jin Lee opened the Galactic Cultural Exchange Center on Earth. Beings from across the galaxy came to learn about humanity. Humans went to other worlds to learn about them. Slowly, understanding replaced fear. Dr. Sang-woo Kim continued his research, but now he worked with scientists from other species. Together, they developed technology to help everyone, not to destroy. 10 years after the treaty, Fleet Admiral Dong-hyun Park stood on the bridge of the GMS Unity, a ship crewed by members of 15 different species. They were responding to a distress call from a colony under attack by pirates. As his ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, Dong-hyun thought about how much had changed. The galaxy was not perfect. There were still conflicts. There were still problems. But there was also cooperation. There was also hope. In a small house on Earth, Tae-min Park sat with his grandson, Jin-ho, named after the admiral. The boy was 5 years old. "Grandpa, did you really fight in the big war?" Jin-ho asked. "Yes, I did." "Were you scared?" Tae-min thought about it. "Yes. Every day." "But you did it anyway?" "Yes. Because sometimes being scared and doing it anyway is what courage means." "Will there be more wars?" Tae-min looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere up there, his son protected the galaxy. Somewhere up there, humans and other species worked together. "Maybe," Tae-min said honestly. "But maybe not. The galaxy learned something from us. They learned that attacking others brings only pain. They learned that cooperation is stronger than conquest. They learned that the weak can become strong, and the strong can become wise." "What did we learn?" Jin-ho asked. Tae-min smiled. "We learned that we are not alone. We learned that even our enemies can become our friends. We learned that surviving is not enough. We must also build. We must also create. We must also love." The boy thought about this. Then he hugged his grandfather. Far away, in the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Sung-Min Oh was giving a speech. Representatives from over 100 species listened. 10 years ago, humanity was nearly destroyed. We were attacked because we were seen as weak. We fought back because we had no choice. We won because we refused to surrender. But the real victory was not in battle. The real victory was in showing the galaxy a different way. Today, we are not conquerors. We are partners. We are friends. We are family. The chamber applauded. Not everyone agreed with him. Some species still disliked humans. Some humans still distrusted aliens. But change had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. And on Earth, people looked up at the stars and knew they belonged there. Not as victims, not as conquerors, but as equals.